Hello and welcome to Austin Anderson Sports Talk, where yes, the Seattle Seahawks absolutely abolished Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 48, 43-8. Russell Wilson, possibly snubbed of the Super Bowl MVP by 7th rounder Malcolm Smith out of USC, but he might have cemented the beginning of his legacy with all the great quarterbacks coming out of the 2012 draft. Andrew Luck, RG3, Tannehill, Russell Wilson, the 3rd round pick, might just be the best one. So what does this mean for Seattle? They're the 4th youngest team in the entire league. All of their stars, Russell Wilson, Percy Harvin, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, 25 years old. If this team plays their cards right, not only could they contend next year, which they will, but they could contend for the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. This could be the beginning of a dynasty. And it's crazy how this team came together. Their quarterback, Russell Wilson, 3rd round pick. Their defensive player of the year, Richard Sherman, 5th round pick. Not to go with their safety, Cam Chancellor, Pro Bowler, 5th round pick. The Super Bowl MVP, Malcolm Smith, was drafted in the 7th round. They find stars in the 3rd, 5th, 7th round. Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas contracts are coming up after next year. They're both going to be due for a huge payday. Not to mention Russell Wilson, who in one entire year makes less money than Peyton Manning makes in one game. But for next year, just about everybody's coming back for Seattle. Unrestricted free agents, Michael Bennett, Golden Tate. Michael Bennett is probably going to be on the outside. Golden Tate, a good possibility he'll come back to go with Percy Harvin. But a wide receiver that has been injured and nobody's been thinking about, Sidney Rice, he's due to make a hefty amount of money next year. So he'll likely be cut to save money for the cap. And for the rest of the NFL offseason, we have huge free agents such as Jimmy Graham, Brian Orakpo of the Washington Redskins, fan favorite Eric Decker of the Denver Broncos. First of all, Jimmy Graham is going absolutely nowhere. Regardless of whether they classify him as a tight end or a wide receiver, he'll get franchise tagged if they don't work out a long-term deal. And for possible cuts to save money this offseason, look for former CJ2K Chris Johnson of the Tennessee Titans to get cut this offseason. Not to mention previously mentioned Sidney Rice, Champ Bailey of the Super Bowl participating Denver Broncos. He's been a stud, but he's going to make a lot of money for a 3rd or 4th cornerback. And former Pro Bowler Julius Peppers of the Chicago Bears is probably on the chopping block this offseason. And for the NFL Draft, Texans insiders have almost guaranteed that this pick will be a quarterback. And that narrows it down to Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel, Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback out of Louisville, and Blake Bortles, the quarterback out of the University of Central Florida. To me, Johnny Manziel resembles a Russell Wilson type player, except a little more fragile. Teddy Bridgewater, at his peak, I would go a Ben Roethlisberger. And Blake Bortles, I think, has the highest potential of any quarterback in this draft. And if he were to play to his potential, he could be, I'm not saying this would happen, but he has the possibility, if he plays to his potential, of being an Aaron Rodgers type player in this league. Into the NBA, where David Stern is out. Adam Silver, former deputy commissioner, the guy who picks the 2nd round of the NBA draft, bald, glasses, you'll probably remember. He's taking over. David Stern, 30 years of commissioning the NBA, has made huge changes, including adding 7 teams to the league and taking over an industry whose value was roughly $30 million when he took over. 30 years later, it's a $1 billion industry. He turned what was a domestic NBA, the NBA was just in America, just in the United States, a little bit of Canada, into a game viewed in 215 countries around the world and in 43 different languages. When he started, he had less than 10 international players playing in the league. Today, 92 suited up. 30 years of David Stern, He took his heat, controversy around the league, but he was a great commissioner, and he will be missed. Alright folks, that's it for this week's show. We appreciate you tuning in, appreciate you watching. I'll leave you with this week. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. You can fall down 7 times, 8 times, push down 100 times, but it's the next time. It's the amount of times you get up. It's the amount of times you keep on fighting, because you can crack the code if you work hard enough. If you believe in yourself, you can get where you want to go. Just like Dwayne Wade said, fall down 7 times, and get up 8. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll see you next time.